going on, guys? Yeah, we're gonna have a very interesting discussion today. The name of my network is the podcast is called Read Matrix. Matrix is all the matrix structures around you. One of the matrix structures around you are narcissists. And what I'm trying to help you understand is that when you're standing in front of that one narcissist, you're not standing in front of a person, you're standing in front of a gateway to a network, a portal to a network. That person was unalived a long time ago, and particularly in their early development. And they only represent the interests, the projected interests of the network, and they reflect only the interests of the narc that unalive them and that controls them. Okay, and so how does narcissists control people? And so this is part 2 on how narcissists weaponize fear. And so all the ability to manipulate people are based upon traumatizing them. So it's actually based upon harming them. Okay. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to elicit a fear response. Okay. And let me just try to help you understand what that means. Okay. Here. Let me see here. You know what? I may have. No, but don't. Okay, I was seeing if I had an image. Okay, what I'm looking for, amygdala. Okay, let me say here. Okay, I say here, show me pictures of the amygdala. Okay, let me just, okay. Okay, but this picture bigger. Okay, so here's the amygdala, here's the brain here. Here's the amygdala here. Okay, now the amygdala here is your fear center. Okay, now your fear center is connected right here to your hippocampus. And this is where your memory is, right? And so your memories are colored with the fear response because it's directly connected to your memory. So this concept of fear and memory is what the narcissist specializes in, because if they can traumatize you just enough, then that's going to trigger a fight or flight response every time you come in their awareness, even if you're not physically in their presence. It can come, the trauma reaction can occur even if you're just thinking about them. And what this trauma reaction does, it causes your brain to automatically give them preferential attention. So in the crowds, you tend to focus on the people who represent the most danger to you. And if they're engaging in your environment, you may want to make recessions to them to limit their capacity to do you any harm. That's why you bow down and follow the leader of a group. Right. And narcissists go wherever you are and set up an organization so that you are members of that group, so they can start trying to target you or publish you through third parties through the entire group. That way they can get away with it. Right. But the whole thing is based upon traumatizing you, and then you remembering the trauma and your amygdala shaping whatever experiences in the future as a filter first. So the person begins to, so what this does, trauma in essence locks the person into this low state of consciousness. So the goal of the trauma is to lock you in this low compartment here. The trauma runs the risk of locking you into what Jesus referred to as the flesh, and that is all the sickness at the bottom. Right? Because anxiety, fear, regret, pain, oh yeah, they want to traumatize you and they want you to think about it. They want you to relinquish in it. They want you to just become overwhelmed on it. They want you to focus. Why? Because all the while you're doing that, they're creating additional problems for you because you're stuck here in the survival paradigm of survival of the fittest. So that means that nothing down here that you're going to produce is going to grow. Nothing. And as long as you are traumatized and stuck at the bottom here, they get you again. You basically remember, go look back at my podcast, that they don't want to kill you. They want you to do it all on their own. They set the circumstances up for you to die. And then they come back and watch the whole thing. And some of them, very sick people, even come back and give fake help. Yes. They come by and give you fake help, just like some of these narcissists who are close to you. Some of them, if you're cleaning up, they'll be faking like they're cleaning up, but won't even be cleaning up. If you're doing a task, they'll be faking like they're doing a task, but they're not even doing a task. You see these sick people. I mean, they're absolutely nuts. They're absolutely crazy. So remember, in the TPUSA, that why was Charlie, why did he have to die? Well, because it was a sacrifice, right? It was a sacrifice. And in order to get preferential attention next to the next presidential election, they chose to execute Charlie in front of all of his followers, which are very young children. I mean, not children, but very young college students. They got a chance to look at Charlie and see him get executed. And oh my God, I can't imagine the trauma it caused. But what it does is it puts that memory there. And now these people have to go through life with that as a filter. And that distracts them from their reality. It shifts everybody into the reality that Erika Kirk wanted them to be in. And that's the reality that she doesn't get blamed for anything that it seems like she's done, right? Everything she wants us to all be traumatized and think about how awful it is for her, because she wants to put her behavior in the shadow so that nothing that she did is actually considered. And it'll be interesting if she gets away with that, because it says whomever her handlers are, man, it's going to have to be a government. It's going to have to be a government. This is sick. So they have to traumatize you. So the narc you with, oh my God, I mean, they are purposely planning on traumatizing you with the worst things ever, and they have to get it by surprise. And I think the worst traumas that you will or you are experiencing with this narcs is the same trauma that Jesus Christ would have felt had he not understood Judas was the snake that he was. And that is the type of trauma that goes along with the person kissing you on your face. That is, the person who wants to harm you as much as they can and unalive you is so close to you that they're actually kissing you on your face. This is the holy grail of these sick people. And if they can get that close to you, when you realize that you've been stabbed by the back by the one that you trusted the most, woo-wee, they love it, boy. I mean, they love it. Man, they love it. They love it, boy. They love it. They love to turn your child against you, an innocent child, right? Mom, sick mom, hiding in the back, changing the children's opinion against you, all of that. These people are sick. These people are primitive. I refer to them as the primitives. And I look at them as being simply the backdrop people or NPCs. And these people don't have a consciousness. They're only survival of the fittest. So, hey, narcissists are definitely going to try to traumatize you with fear. Don't fall for it. Their fear is only there to remind you that you need to keep fighting. You need to keep moving. There are more people starting to understand more about narcissistic abuse, about using trauma to weaponize people. You know, it's awful that Erika Kirk wanted to do this to her husband's followers. And can you imagine that? The execution for her husband, and then traumatize everyone, including her children. This is probably the best opportunity she could have to destiny swap with him. She had to make sure she startled everybody as much as they can so they're startled. And in the point of being startled, she presents in the glory, in the light, and things like that as a solution to the problem. And what's her vision? Let's grow. Let's move on. Not a word about Charlie, man. Not a word about Charlie. And so it seems like they wanted this to be a public execution. Now, let me show you why the public execution is necessary. Now, these narcissists, just like with you, they're trying to create a ceremony. And in that ceremony, they get benefits, right? When they unalive you, or when they take your, extract your energy, they all benefit from it greatly. They all get greatly stabilized egos from it. And so they all benefit from taking from you. And so it becomes a ritual. And so now to let you know that, hey, when you talk about Erika Kirk, and like I said, when you talk about violence on the South Side of Chicago, you're dealing with narcissists working as a network. You know, in this case, this TPUSA seems to be it's more of like a network that's sacrificing people. You know, same way like the narcissistic Black family cults on the South Side of Chicago that are sacrificing young Black men with empathy, and they're killing them at a rate of 800 to 500 a year. And no one does anything about these sacrifices. And so every time you see these walk-up videos where the person's sitting in the car and the person sneak up onto them and pow, and unalive them, that's a human sacrifice, but it's just done. This is the methodology of the narcissistic Black family cult. You know, the methodology for the religious cult is to sacrifice the man the same way they sacrifice Jesus in front of everybody while his followers looking. You know, they put him and then they put him up as a messiah figure and being talking about him in so very heroic terms, like his neck stopped the bullet and things like that. So this issue with narcissistic family cults and narcissists terrorizing you, and they have to terrorize you because they have to sacrifice you. The sacrifice is absolutely necessary. It is still going on today. Now, I'm going to show you this one video. I have to give this, I learned this video through Candace Owens. And so this is a video that purportedly showed a human sacrifice. And then the people who did this purportedly human sacrifice, they came out and said, hey, that this was a mock human sacrifice, right? And the mock human sacrifices. Okay, what's the human sacrifices? Where's the woman that we saw got sacrificed, but the woman never appeared? Right now, there's this story is connected to several other things, but let me just show you here. And then let me give you a trigger warning. A trigger warning also. But the point here is that they are doing human sacrifices. You wouldn't think in 2020 that okay, is this did we just witness a human sacrifice with Charlie? I think so. Here's another video that shows yes, human sacrifices. Why? Look at it yourself. Trigger warning. Now, let me set this up. Okay. Now, this right here, this statue, this is a antique replica of, I believe it's the goddess of sacrifice. Right? Don't get me all into this, okay? But this is the goddess of sacrifice. Now, this is happening. This is at CERN, the Geneva Particle Physics Research Complex. Okay, let me just show you where this is. And so, see, what happens is that all of these right now you're seeing on this CERN regional complex. Let me show you what this CERN is, okay? Okay, what is CERN? Okay, here. See, CERN is the European Organization for Nuclear Research. Now, this is a government agency. So these cult-like systems could be embedded in government agencies, and it gives them the power to do things behind the scenes because they're able to operate at the level of the state. And here, this is the world's largest particle physics laboratory. Located near Geneva on the French-Swiss border, using powerful accelerators like the Large Hadron Collider to smash atomic particles at the near light speed, revealing the fundamental building blocks of matter and the forces governing them, essentially exploring the universe's deepest secrets and pushing technology forward. Now, this is something that's very interesting because remember we started talking about the secret societies and Illuminatis. And what happens here, it seems to me with this particle accelerator here, when they try to peer into the universe's deepest secrets, they try to look into the future. They try to see if they can get to yet another deeper level of reality, right? At that level may represent a higher level of reality, a dimension above us. And all of the spiritual religious text says it's there. Remember, Jesus made reference to it. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. He also said that heaven is within you. So all of the spiritual leaders throughout time, regardless of the religious context, they always talked about a supernatural space and how to access it here. And there's two ways, basically, historically, there's been two ways to access that. One is through deep meditation, and the other one is through human sacrifice, right? And the third one, I guess here they're trying to do with technology. And it's just so strange that here, that if the world's psychopaths have gotten together and they're creating a time machine, they take a time machine, then are they trying to increase their odds by simultaneously having human sacrifices on the same facilities? It seems like because they'll run a shortage of people who will be able to meditate, because those people will have empathy. They have to have a collection of sociopaths who will be able to still peer in the future by sacrificing very innocent people. You see what I'm saying? stuff gets a little bit complicated. But check this out. And again, that's the backdrop. This is happening on that property, right? And so, and this statue here, this is the statue, don't quote me here, but it's a statue of sacrifice or something like that. And then as you can see here, people are here dressed in black in this ceremony style. You have one person here, you have another person there, then you have 1, 2, I think 3, 4, and 5 watching. And then this person is filming, but they don't see them. And this is on the grounds of the particle accelerator, where they have the particle accelerator. This is on the grounds. Okay. Now, they came out in here and said a fake ritual killing filmed at the courtyard. They said it's fake, but they never identified the woman in the video here. So let me just show you here real quick. And again, trigger warning. I don't like to see this. But trigger warning. They're removing her clothes.
What the? Fuck! Shit! Fuck!
See, the thing is that when they came out with the mock video, the woman never reappeared, and the people never. They just said this is fake, and then they moved on like that. You know, it must be so. It must be something so powerful at the level of government where they can get busted doing a human sacrifice, and they don't even have to. No one investigates it. It just goes away. They just walk away. They don't say anything, right? They don't say anything. So this concept of making, and where does this come from? And let me just go back here, explain the Mayans. Why did the Mayans why did the Mayans have human sacrifices? The Mayans perform human sacrifices as the ultimate offering to their gods, right? Believing blood-nourished deities, right? Control nature, weather, harvest, disease, and sustain creation, enduring cosmic balance, rebirth, and fertility for their people. You are exactly right, right? I notice a pattern. Just look at Erika, Kirk, and Charlie. Charlie is the one who created the organization. He was the one who had the energy. He was the one who had the drive. He was sacrificed to those gods in hope that she would be elevated in his stead. That reminds me of what? Puffy and Biggie. Remember, how does this work? Remember, Puffy, Puffy sacrificed Biggie, right? And took over his album and his momentum by basically substituting himself on Biggie's album and with Biggie's fame. So in this situation, Puff sacrificed Biggie in order to become who he is, right? And that's the same thing, and that's the same type of sacrifice. So Puff needed to sacrifice Biggie in order to get into the position that they gave him, whereby he was able to basically not promote who was talented, but only promote the people who was loyal to him. In this way, the larger organizations, the larger narcissistic structure can control an entire industry. So when when Puff sacrificed his friend Biggie, who felt that they were boys, that's when he was promoted and then given basically a handler position for Hollywood, whereby he set up the same racket as Epstein and began doing the same things as Epstein, but it's at the level within Hollywood. So at this during this time where basically Puffy was the head nigga in charge in Hollywood, you didn't see the film or the genre flourish as it normally would, because the true people who would have been the stars were all either targeted or murdered or destroyed by Puff in their developmental years, right? So here, let me show you here. So Puff needed to sacrifice Biggie in order to get the position to run all of Hollywood. And instead of promoting talent, what do they do? Steal from Puffy, do steal from the things. Remember the complaint that Tupac had over Puffy is that he stole his style, that Biggie stole his style. Now, remember what's happening with these largest networks. They don't work for anything, nothing. Just like with Erika Kirk, there's nothing that makes her qualified to run his organization besides she's the widow, right? And so that's another example of one of these sick narcissists occupying a position in our society that they have no qualifications for. And when people get raised up like that, usually they get raised up beyond the level of their competency. Usually it's because they're a soldier for another narc, and that they're very useful for the other narc. So you start to see in all of these industries that the true talent never expresses itself, because because they are all trapped and encased within some type of narcissistic network. And now we're seeing that they're building narcissistic networks for entire communities and for entire industries. Look at how Diddy was the handler for the music industry, and how his recording everyone and having parties and orgies and everything and getting dirt from everyone and stealing people's talent and trying to harm people, setting people up. He was doing all of that. He wasn't creating anything. He was doing all of that because that's the only thing you can do at the bottom. His energy level is so low, that's all he can do at the bottom is just destroy things. So I hope that's interesting for you. So remember, when you're dealing with that narcissist, the first thing that they're going to have to constantly do is traumatize you, right? And in order for you not to be traumatized, you're going to have to make sure that you talk to someone who's not a part of that sick network. And remember, if you're dealing with a narcissist and they're attacking you, that means that they've already talked to everyone around you. They've already got people on their side. They've already been attacking you, right? And they're going to try to make you feel fearful. When you make you feel fearful, you have to understand that absolutely no way. You should fear no man. Right? Now, when you begin to look at the sick narcissists as agents of the system, I think you begin to understand the type of problem you're facing. These people are all at the bottom, and the lower life forms seem to be able to express themselves through the sickest people. So when you look around yourself, it's always the sickest ones that are acting up. And trust me, the people who are targeting you now were the retarded people 15 years ago who was jealous of you sitting in the background. Them motherfuckers never went away. Trust me, They never went away. They're still at play. Even though they're not in your same reality, they still at play. Why? Because they need that energy. So I hope this is helpful for you. Remember, narcissists use fear to control. So when they target you, you have to say up front, hey, you trying to create trauma. You trying to create fear. You trying to make me fear you. When they punch you, when they lie, oh, you just trying to make me fear you. Bring it out. Bring it out. Once you bring it up, then they can't use it as a weapon. Oh, he's trying to make me fear him. Oh, he's trying to make me fear. She's trying to make her fear me. She's doing this because she want me to fear her. Put it on the table. I hope this is helpful for you. And remember, these idiots are everywhere, boy. You should look at this movie from Vincent Price called The Last Man Standing. Vincent Price, The Last Man Standing. It's a black and white movie, right? And then look at I Am Legend with Will Smith, because it's you, right? When you grow and when you mature, you start to understand that all the problems you created were the problems that you never dealt with, that you never resolved. And that these sick people are only the mirror. So no matter what conflict you're having with these sick people, they're only putting up a reflection of who you really are. And you can't blame them. When they traumatize you to get you to stay, don't believe it. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and share. Right? Read out, guys. Take care.